reason they say the eyes are a window to the soul. You can tell a lot about a person just by looking at his face. And world-renowned facial expressions expert Dr. Paul Ekman has spent decades uncovering the secrets behind facial expressions, and he is joining us now. Welcome, Dr. Ekman.
Hello, how are you?
Wonderful. We're so excited to have you. We have to know, can you always tell if someone is telling the truth? I mean, what are some of the cues you're reading?
Well, I can tell if it's the first time the person has told that lie, and they didn't have time to rehearse and prepare, and there's a lot at stake if they succeed or fail. Then I do better than 90%. But if they've had a lot of coaching or time to prepare and think about it, if they've told that lie many times before, or if it doesn't much matter whether they get caught, then I haven't got a chance at all.
What about a psychopath or a sociopath? Can you tell if he or she is lying?
They are terrible liars.
Really?
But they're so charming, you want to believe them.
And you know, they lie so much, maybe they start to believe it's the truth. I bet that affects how you can read someone, right?
Wait, my diagnostic test for how do you know that you've just met a psychopath is that within 5 minutes you want to invite them home for dinner.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's not good.
Well, that means there's a lot of people dating a lot of psychopaths.
I would agree to that.
So, Dr. Ekman, we have to mention this. You invented something called the micro-expression training tool, and there are 7 signs of emotions, you say. Some of them are confused with one another. Can we run through these emotions that everybody has across the board?
Yes, everyone. Doesn't matter what your culture or nation or language is. If you're feeling the following emotions, we'll see the same expressions on your face. Enjoyment, fear, anger, sadness, disgust, surprise, and then one that's got a difficult name in English, contempt, the feeling of moral superiority.
Man, so everybody has these across the board. That's really
Has those
interesting.
emotions, and everyone shows them by the same muscles moving. Now, the thing that gets tricky, and I'm going to show you an example of it, is sometimes we try to conceal how we feel, and then instead of a normal expression of a few seconds, we get only a micro, very fast, just a flash of the expression. But we've developed a tool that's now widely used in law enforcement and security, and also it's beginning to get used in the health professions, that teaches you how to spot these micro expressions.
But I have to mention, we were just showing the viewers some video of the series Lie to Me. There was an entire series based on this, reading faces. In the show, the face reading helps law enforcement. What was your part in that show? Because it's really interesting. And how do you help law enforcement in real life use it as well?
Well, I was their scientific advisor, and the show is an exaggeration of what I do. I wrote a blog critique that's called The Truth About Lie to Me for every show. I mean, they had to solve every problem in 45 minutes. I don't.
Yeah.
So I had the ability to spend more time. They made it seem a little easier, but they put it on the front burner. They made this issue something that people were aware of and wanted to know more about.
Let's do something in real life then. You had a chance to read all of us. We're going to take a few. You chose Tara and I. We'll start with Tara's clip. So she was asked, what is the hardest thing she's ever had to do? Here's a short clip of that.
Definitely the worst thing I've ever had to do was to sign the paper to have the breathing tube discontinued for my husband.
So clearly, a very personal question, personal answer, but what kind of information did you gather from watching that?
Well, I was surprised that she described such a terrible event. Not that terrible events don't happen, but to a young woman, it's quite unusual. But what she showed us, what we can learn from, is notice how frequently, when she blinks, she holds her eyes closed for a longer period of time, right from the start. She does this more than a dozen times, long eyelid closures. And what we know that generally means, the moment I saw it, I knew that she was doing a lot of extra mental work to try to figure out what she was going to say and how to manage her emotions.
It was difficult because here I was smiling. I had no idea what question was going to be asked of me. And so I'm like, okay. And then this question gets thrown at me and I was like, okay, I guess we're going there. And I mean, I agree. I had to blink. I had to sort of control my emotions. And I'm on camera and I'm answering this question about the most difficult time. I mean, I knew exactly what the most difficult time was, I mean, literally my husband was dying and I had to approve of pulling the breathing tube and then going and sitting with him for 16 hours and watching him die. And it's difficult. And so I was trying to convey that, but be calm about it.
Dr. Ekman, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, and again, my sympathies to Tara.
So now he also read my face. Thankfully, it's not that photo. But he did
wrong
read
with that
my
photo?
face, and you'll find out if he was spot on or way off course. Check out the results on our website. And thank you again to Dr. Ekman. That was awesome.